brought this up last April.
I have a little emergency call here. Hey, Captain! All right. Captain. What part of the world are you from?
I am from India. I work in Africa,
Okay.
in East Africa, Tanzania, Uganda, Kenya.
I'm going to open the door and I'll be back.
We are gathered here today. If anyone else wants to, Jerry is the manager of this boat. This.
Jerry, nice meeting you.
Yes,
Father
right.
Thomas. Yeah.
And we have the captain of the Golden Rule has joined us over here.
Yep.
Captain Steve Buck. Thank you.
Hello, Captain. Nice meeting you.
Right.
Thank you.
And our crew, Marianne.
And our crew, Marianne.
Hi there. Hey.
Yeah. So they've been sailing it around this country. It's been tough. It's been rough weather, and this is not a job for. I don't know. It's amazing just being on that boat a little while. You learn such great respect. No, I'm not a guide at all. I just happen to know this place.
Okay.
This is a very special place because of Thomas Merton.
Yeah.
We come here because Thomas Merton, who many of us know, really received his conversion experience here to leave his very social life, and he was chief editor of the magazine for Columbia University. But he received an experience in this church which led to him entering the monastery and deeply going within himself in that monastery. But not long after he was in that monastery, he started feeling the connection with the world and the wars that were going on and nuclear weapons, and he really became very outspoken as much as he could.
So you are
At that
all
time.
from different places.
Yes?
Yes, different organizations.
Different organizations.
Okay.
Ireland,
Ireland. Oh.
yes. It's a little island in the Atlantic, a rock in the Atlantic.
And nobody's from Asia. Nobody's from Africa.
Japan.
Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
My friend is there.
Okay.
So since we're on his time schedule, he's giving us 5 minutes. Beautiful. Let's go inside, and perhaps we can read a few of his words inside the church, just a minute, and come back out. And we thank you very much. Yeah. Okay, bud, give us a song. Well, this is I mean, Thomas Merton means a lot to many of us. Bud and I actually went to the monastery a year ago, Bud? Yeah. So, and it was praying at his grave, because I do believe that Thomas Merton is another human being that offered his life and gave his life, speaking truth to power, but just speaking. And for Thomas Merton, he really, for those of us who are not Catholic, for those who are not Catholic and are Christian or even of religion, believe me, Thomas Merton well understood that. He understood that the most important thing was caring and loving one another. And he really, well, we have some words we're going to read that perhaps says it better than I, but I deeply appreciate him pushing back for many years, as much as the Catholic Church would allow him. They kind of silenced Merton for years. But he really was he knew all about embracing other cultures, embracing other religions, and that by doing this, it only widened and deepened his faith. And that's what he understood, the message of Christ as being in all people, in all faiths, in all continents, in all religions. And so he was way ahead of his time. And the church was having a little bit of a hard time with someone like him. He really did explore and wrote a lot lot and spoke a lot about these different faiths. So without ado, we were just going to stop and read a few of his words. I would like to read a part of his letter to President Johnson during the Vietnam War, early in the Vietnam War, before we were in May of 1964, before the war really got going. He was, well, I'll read a little bit from the letter. And we also, the Kennedys were Catholic. They knew they couldn't talk about that too much. But Ethel Kennedy contacted him in the monastery. And they became good friends, had a lot of correspondence together. They wrote a lot of letters back and forth. So I've asked Brendan Fay of St. Pat's for All, who also himself, like everyone here, I think, are organizers and know about the power of unity with all the diversity. And Brendan, thank you for all the great work you do in terms of bringing diverse peoples together. But let's hear some words. This is a letter that, just a part of a letter that Thomas Merton wrote to Ethel Kennedy in 1961, height of the nuclear arms race, 1961.
Thomas Merton, to be in this place where he sat and prayed or was moved is so profound and beautiful that we go from places of reflection to the streets. And anyway, I'm just going to say, I always see Merton, who as a monk said in his contemplation and reflection, it stirred in him a consciousness of needing to speak out because of this spiritual connection with the human family and the great threat of nuclear weapons. Anyway, Thomas Merton to Ethel Kennedy, September 1961. Since I have the privilege of being able to communicate with you, who are so close to the President, I have an obligation to put down in black and white my very strong objection to the resumption of testing nuclear weapons. I base this objection on moral and humanitarian grounds. The grounds are, it seems to me, so important that there can be no longer any moral justification for nuclear war. No matter how good the motives for promoting nuclear armament, no matter how good the motives for promoting nuclear armament may look on a certain superficial level, these motives mask a horrible, indeed diabolical danger to humankind. There is no getting around the fact that making nuclear weapons is profitable, and indeed, to some sense, vital to many people in this country. Hence, these people, however sincere may be their motives, tend to be prejudiced in favor of everything that endangers the peace of the world. They may not want war, that they live by defense industries. And to want weapons as badly as they do is, I am afraid, is tantamount to wanting war. That is how wars are made. It seems to me that the great problem we face is not Russia, but war itself. War is the main enemy. And we are not going to make sense unless we see that every form of healthy human contact with Russia, and above all China, is to be encouraged. We have got to see each other as people and not as demons.